Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Good day. My name is Krista, and you're watching Heart to Heart. Our subject today is financial freedom, is never having to ask, can I afford this? Right? Okay, Pam, what do you think about that?
Good morning, everyone. What do I think about financial freedom? Hmm. Well, to me, financial freedom is, of course, the first thing comes to mind is having lots in order to take care of your financial needs. Not always, because financial freedom could mean any amount of things, and including having lots, having abundance of something else, like having maybe time to know where you are going to invest in your for your financial freedom. Planning ahead. Maybe you have an event coming up that is going to bring in extra income. Maybe you're starting an extra income stream, bringing that into your life, and planning ahead and saying, okay, since I've got this extra coming on board now, that I'm going to take this and put it aside, planning for the future, or I have something that I want to purchase or I want to invest in, that I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over here in this kitty so I'll have it when the time comes. Financial freedom, going out and having something and looking, not having to look at the tag. Uh, Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. With today's world, with rising costs, Lord knows, cost is rising every day. Um, getting off the topic now, but yesterday I was at the supermarket and I looked at a piece of roast beef. Man, this big piece, $20. I say no. I think I'll fill it for my moose license. Anyhow, financial freedom is an amazing thing because if you, it could be in your mindset, because if you think you don't have financial freedom or you're not going to achieve financial freedom, then you're not. But put all things aside, know where you're going, know what your finances is, have a budget, and know what your next step is. Thank you.
Yeah, great advice, Pam. Yep, I like that. Okay, Tina, your turn.
Thank you. Morning. And with this financial freedom brings security and peace. When you don't have to stress about every expense, you get to focus on growth and creativity and impact. Um, it also means your life isn't dictated by money, but by purpose. That's what's nice about having that luxury as well. You know, it is a luxury, right? To be able to go and do and be and give and spend time focusing on the things that are important to you. Um, yeah, it buys options for sure. Thanks.
Thank you, Tina. Yeah, when people think of abundance or financial freedom, either one of those words, they're thinking like billionaires, right? Millionaires. But that doesn't necessarily mean
No.
what it has to mean. Okay, Janice, your turn.
Thank you. When I was a child, I heard my mother telling me, we can't afford it. We
Mhm.
can't afford that. If I wanted to have, I never got to go shopping too much when I was young. It wasn't the thing to do. Basically, we went for groceries, and that's when I got to go shopping. And I never got new clothes. I had hand me downs. So I was always under the thought process of, I can't afford it.
Mhm.
And that sticks with you in your life of not being able to afford something. And my husband and I, let me just sort of digress a bit. He was in the same sort of category as me with his parents financially as well, not being able to afford things. We both lived in nice homes. And looking back, I realized that both of our parents, they worked hard so that they could be able to pay for their homes. And with that, when we got married, and prior to that, my husband, he is the one who is able to put aside money every single week from his paycheck. Even prior to us being married, he would set aside more than 10% of his wages so that when we got married, we would be able to have money in order to live. And he still has that. And we still do that. We set aside money on a weekly basis. And I think that is one of the best things that I can suggest to people. Whether or not you think you can afford it, you always can. Because if you have it withdrawn from your pay into your bank account, your savings account, or whatever type of account you want to use, you don't know you ever had it. And you are able to manage on what is left over. That's what I have to say about financial freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Yeah, some great advice there too. And it is a mindset, right? And I think because we are kind of all in the same kind of generation. Our parents, my parents especially, grew up in wartime. So there was a lot of poverty, and you were lucky to get potatoes on your dinner table, right? And so the mindset was a poverty mindset, and that gets passed down to the next generation and the next generation. So it's up to us to change that for our grandchildren so that they don't have that kind of mindset where they think they have to or they're not able to attract abundance and financial freedom into their lives. I know that's one of the reasons I love this business, because it is changing that trajectory in my family. So I love that. But wouldn't it be great?
Too, though, Krista, you have to think too,
Yep.
though, even though we want to present that to our children and grandchildren, we
Mhm.
don't want, I'm looking at it in a totally different light, that you don't
Yeah.
want them to think that it's just a given and it
Oh,
just
no,
comes.
no.
Yeah, but
No.
you understand there's like
Yeah.
two different ways of sort of
Yeah.
looking at it. You're
Well,
not going to have, yeah,
I want them
because
to know that
they take everything for granted.
I want them to know that they can work and
Yeah.
attract abundance, right?
Yeah.
Because the mindset that I was brought up with, and I'm sure all of you were brought up with, is you have to work hard, like really, really, really hard to get anything. Where it's, I don't believe that's the case. I believe that we attract what we are into our life. So if we are abundant or feel abundant, that's what we will attract. If we are love or feel love, that's what we will attract into our lives. And that's what I'm teaching my grandchildren. Yes, they have to work towards what they want, but they don't have to work so hard that you're working yourself into the ground to make anything, right? Because that's the poverty mindset. Work for what you want, listen to your intuition, and what is meant to come your way will come your way if you're open to it. That's my opinion. And does anybody, this kind of has gone into a different direction, but what do you think about that, Tina? That kind of mindset?
Oh, for sure, mindset, because we've grown up suppressed with limitations, and we're now realizing that they don't need to be there. They don't exist.
No.
They're not real. So,
right?
It's all in your approach now and how you make that shift for yourself, right?
I know from my experience growing up, my mom was really good at pinching pennies, and we had what we didn't figure we did without anything because we had what we needed. And when we needed a treat, grandfather was always there. We ran next door and tapped on the door, and he gave us a dime, and we went off to the store and we got our candy. We were happy. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I remember rolling pennies and cashing in, milk bottles and pop bottles and all that to get, a loaf of bread and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's just changing that trajectory that we can attract abundance into our life. And if something like this business model shows up on your feed, it's not by accident. It's there for you to look at. Whether it's there for you to do, I don't know, but you won't know unless you do the investigation, look into it. But I do know it's not there by accident. So there's something that you need to look into. And it will give you, and it is a vehicle to attract the kind of abundance and financial freedom that the girls and I are talking about today. Um, and it all starts in taking steps towards a different future. Reach out to one of us, to the person who you're watching the page. I'm not even saying that right. To the person's page you're watching, reach out to them and just have a chat. Register on the website, watch the free webinar that we all have on our websites. Just look into it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, everyone, take care and have a wonderful day.